And we're back with some more Calgary Flames franchise mode in FHM 9. And in this one, we have some pretty big decisions to make as we are currently 12, 20, and 7 at the midway point in the season, 39 games in. We are 8th in the Pacific Division with essentially no chance of catching the wild card. I mean, it would be a long shot. We would have to win out of the next, 42, 43 games? Yeah, 43 games. Out of the next 43 games, I think we would probably have to win minimum 35. It's not likely. I think just given the history of this team, obviously we did well last year, but that very well could have been a fluke with several players overperforming, and with how many players are underperforming this year compared to last year. Not to mention Hart's save percentage is kind of tanked this year, only at a 904 save percentage when he was at, I believe, in 920 something earlier in the season. There's also Harrington, who's only got 9 points so far as a 3-star talent. His potential's dropped down to 3.5 stars. Well, he was a 5-star talent when we started this GM mode. Then Micho might be the biggest case of a slump compared to last year. He had 42 points last year, only 8 this year, on track for 16. This team is, at least this year, not going anywhere except for the top of the draft lottery. So I think we need to, at minimum, trade Hart and Hanifin, the two veterans on this team, 33 and 32 years of age, before their value really diminishes. And besides that, they're only on 1-year deals. And Hart, he wants 8.2 for 4 years. I don't think I'm willing to give him that for the point where we're at as a team. And then Hanifin, he wants 4.5, so that's not bad, but it's also a no trade clause for 3 years. As a 33-year-old defenseman, he's going to be dropping off real soon. So I think we should also trade him while we can, just get something back for him. Because we're bound to get something good for Hanifin, especially if we package him with Hart. And then also I think what we need to do is fire Francis Bouillon. Obviously we don't have more than a year and a half of data on him at the NHL level, but the fact that he goes from 47, 28, and 7 last year to 12, 20, and 7 so far this year, that's I don't like that at all. And there are better coaches out there that I could go after right now who I think would be a better fit for the direction that this team is going. So, like Rod Brindamore might be a perfect example of a standard coach who might actually work for this team. Because not only are all of his ratings better than our current coach, but he also prefers prospects, and that's going to be a big thing for us. So I might consider hiring Brindamore. Even though he is 60 years old, so he might be close to retirement, but it might be worth it. There's also Bob Bugner, who is 59 years of age, defensive preference, prefers prospects, so I like that about him already. Physical preference, his coaching ratings are actually better too. So it's a matter of, do I want the defensive-minded Bugner or the standard preference for Brindamore? I'm noticing a lot of good defensive grades on this team. That is something that has been consistent in the 1.5 years we've been here so far. So I think honestly Bugner might be the better choice. Although if I want Elfring to develop offensively, then maybe I should get Brindamore. And his offensive ratings are already really good, but it doesn't seem like he's getting the points to match that. I mean, maybe it's just that he's a defensive-minded player, like he's defense-first kind of player, but you know, with these kinds of offensive ratings, I would expect him to get a little bit more than just 23 points at this point in the season. I mean, we need a lot of help with both goals against and goals for, so the one thing I'll say that Brindamore does not have in his favor is the passive line matching tendency. I prefer the opposite, so I think I might go Bugner here. Because, yeah, he's got aggressive and physical preference. Yeah, I think Bugner's got to be the guy. As much as I do want to improve Elfring offensively, I think Bugner might be better long-term. So we're going to fire Francis Bouillon, and we will hire... can I not hire him as a head coach? It just has him as an assistant here. Okay, there we go. I have to do it from this screen. Hire as head coach. I'll give you... not 4. I'll give you 3. So there you go. Bob Bugner, the new head coach of your Calgary Flames. And now let's find a trade for Hart and Hanifin. Preferably a team that needs both a defenseman and a goaltender. I mean, Boston, but they're not exactly in a position where they would want either of them either. Maybe Carolina? They need a goalie and a left defenseman. Hart is a goalie and Hanifin is a left defenseman. So possibly. I know they don't have a whole lot of cap space, but maybe we can make something work, especially if we retain salary. All right, maybe if I take Kakinen, because he's making 3.1 as a 1.5-star goalie for 1 year. I would have to get probably another 3 mil on there. And we have a trade to announce. With the Carolina Hurricanes, we will be sending Noah Hannafin, Carter Hart, both at 50% of their salaries retained, a 3rd-round pick in this year's draft, and the rights to Brendan Lisowski in exchange for Vasily Ponomarev, Capo Kakinen, and 2 first-round picks. 1 for this year, 1 for next year. Unfortunately, Carolina did not have too many prospects I was interested in, and Carolina was by far the best fit for both of these players in terms of what they wanted. Hannafin was the left defenseman. They wanted a goaltender, so I figured I could get the most value out of Carolina. We are getting 2 first-round picks back. I had to include Kakinen and Ponomarev due to the salary cap issue, in addition to retaining 50% of both Hannafin and Hart's salary, but I think it's worth it. Besides, both Hart and Hannafin are both on 1-year contracts, so it's not like that 50% retained is even too much of a big deal beyond this year. I would have liked to get some younger players back instead of just Ponomarev and Kakinen, but like I said, there was not really much that I was interested in from Carolina in terms of players, so I decided let's just get the picks and just trade Hannafin and Hart right now just so that they don't drop off any further, because I have a feeling the way Hart's been playing, I just have this feeling he's going to drop off pretty soon, especially given his age. And that would be a lot of wasted value for this team with where we are right now. And Hannafin, he's at a 3-star ability now, 33 years of age. That's only going to keep getting worse. If we were a contending team, I absolutely would want to hold on to Hart and Hannafin this year, but that is simply not the case. As seen by our record, 13, 21, and 7, it's just not happening this year. So with that, we are going to complete this trade with the Carolina Hurricanes. It has been done. Now what we have to hope for is, first off, a good draft this year and a good draft next year. We do have 3 first-round picks, our own, Carolina, and Ottawa. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how useful they're going to be, especially Carolina and Ottawa's. I mean, I would imagine ours will be pretty good because of just our league standing in general. We're probably going to get one of these players up here. But as far as Carolina and Ottawa go, I'm not sure. We might have to just end up using them as trade bait, honestly, this year. But I figured in this case, getting a first-round pick is better than nothing. Because Carolina really didn't have much that I wanted besides the picks. But again, it was by far the best fit for both of them and in terms of most value coming back. So I'm hoping that next year's draft is going to be better because this one is definitely far from ideal. All right, so with that being done, I think we are done with changes for right now. Obviously, we hired our new coach in Bob Bugner. We got Hannafin and Hart out of here in exchange for a couple of firsts. And obviously, earlier this season, we got Henry Muse, who so far has 17 points in 26 games played. So despite our recent changes, I think with guys like Elfring, Muse, Pegamagabo on board, I think with one more good draft, this team will be pretty solid. Obviously, we do have a few gaps to fill, but I'm hoping that'll come through either the draft or by trading those draft picks for teams that want them, who are willing to give away players who are, let's say, 24, 25, who could stick around here for a while. And so with that, I think we will continue on with the simulation, get up to the trade deadline at minimum, but I can't imagine we're going to be doing anything because we've basically already done our trade deadline trades. If there's nothing else at that point, then we will get to the end of the regular season. Right, we need a new captain. Hannafin was our captain. See, the thing is, I'm not really too impressed with many guys on this team this year. So I'm not sure who exactly I would want to make captain. I guess Brisson would be the closest because he's on track to be where he was last year in terms of points. Possibly Bernier. I would consider Henry Muse, but he's really new, and I think for right now I'm going to give it to Brisson, and then I'll make Elfring alternate 1. And there you go. There are new captains. Let's advance in the simulation. Ooh, we got a pretty interesting player on waivers here. Teddy Spitznagel, only 24 years of age. And let's see his contract. 1.29 for 2 years. That's good. What his career so far? Looks like he's been a replacement player for Philly, but his grades have actually been pretty good as of late. 65 in 19 games last year. 68 in 38 games this year. And his defensive grades at 75. Yeah, that could be a solid, like, 4th liner minimum. I mean, certainly better than some of the players we're icing currently in the bottom 6. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna claim him. And there you go. He is now on our roster, so we're going to have to send somebody down here. Don't imagine that's going to be too big of an issue with how poor some of these players are simulating. Jimmy Delisle in particular with a 45 defensive grade, 51 offensive, so I'm sending him to the AHL for sure. And once again, a pretty cheap contract, so I would call that a win. And we'll see if he sticks around long term. All right, so we're essentially at the trade deadline here, March 1st, 24, 31, and 8. It's been an interesting stretch here because even though we're still not anywhere close to the wild card, which I mean I expected, but if we take a look at our schedule, we've won some pretty interesting games here. 6-3 against Buffalo, 7-2 against Tampa, 5-0 against the Rangers, 5-1 against the Devils, 4-0 against Dallas. So in some respects, we're certainly showing some improvement right off the bat. I don't know if that's the new coach or the trades or a combination of both, but we haven't really lost any ugly games as of late. Even back in January, we won 7-0 against LA, which, I mean, that's not really a surprise considering they're the only team below us. Vancouver and Vegas are the only terrible losses we've had since the Hannafin and Hart trade. So we're certainly showing some improvement. I like to see that. And listen, I know we're not in contention this year, but I think this is the kind of run that matters in the long term for your team's confidence, right? So while we may be affecting our draft lottery ranking, I think it's more important in the long term for a team to have confidence in themselves, even when they're, not necessarily in the running. And for guys like Elfring and Pegamagabo, that's going to be huge. So the fact that we're going on this run right now as a team that's not very good, it gives me a lot of hope for the how the future is going to shape up. And Gage Alexander in 20 games so far has a .932 save percentage. I think we may have found our starter goaltender. I don't want to say it too soon because that's only, over the course of a total of 35 games between this year and last year. But he's had some really impressive numbers so far. Gage Alexander, he might be the guy going forward, but we'll just have to see what the future holds. Because if Gage Alexander's doing this while we're 24, 31, and 8, what's it going to be like when we're good? I kind of want to see that. So I hope that he can keep doing that as he's been. And let's briefly check the team stats just so we know where we stand before we advance to the end of the season. We are currently sitting 18th in the league in goals for per game with a 3.11. Goals against per game, we are sitting 17th in the league with a 3.17. Much better than before from what I remember. I'm pretty sure we were somewhere down here before. So that's definitely an improvement. Faceoffs, we're 19th in the league with 50.1. Power play, not great, 18.4, 22nd in the league. Penalty kill, we are, not great there either. It's 76%, 28th in the league. Given our record, that was kind of expected, but still got to keep tabs on it anyway. Make sure we're improving in those areas. And I think with that, we'll advance to the end of the regular season. All right, so we're at the end of the regular season. We finished 35, 38, and 9, 79 points, 7th in the Pacific Division. Obviously, still pretty long way away from the wild card. We were never catching that. We finished 26th in the league, so we still have some pretty decent odds at getting into the top 3, I would say. Right, we also have Carolina and Ottawa's picks. Got to check their standings. Carolina's in the playoffs, and Ottawa's also in the playoffs. Okay. And now let's take a look at the player stats to end off the season. We'll start out in goal. In 36 games, Gage Alexander with 20 wins, and the .920 save percentage and 4 shutouts. Not bad at all. And Kakinen in 9 games with the .916 save percentage. So as far as goaltending goes for this team, for a team that was below 500, that's not bad at all. On defense, you have Alexei Bernier with 59 points in 78 games played. I believe that is a career high for him, as yes indeed, last year he had 50 points, and this year nearly 60, so that is very good to see out of him. Henry Muse with 54 points in 79 games, 47 for us in 67 games. So he did cost us a pretty good goalie prospect in Dag, but I think we really came out great with that trade. Because not only Muse, but the first round pick out of that trade, I believe we got a first. Yeah, we got a first along with Muse for Dag and Aura. Having Muse alone makes it worth it, but that first round pick is pretty nice as well. Then you have Bone Byram with 45 points, Emery with 29, Mukamadulin with 23, Corbet with 11, and Martin with 3. And at forward, you have Brisson, the new captain, with 77 points and 40 goals. Then you have Coronado with 66, Pegamagabo with 57, Elfring with 53, so 10 more points than he had last year. He's coming along. Did great defensively, I believe, as well. Oh yeah, 77 defensive grade. He's worth keeping around for sure. Not that there was ever any doubt, of course, but, he's already proven his worth regardless of what he does offensively. But obviously, given that he's a first liner, it would be nice if he could increase his offensive production a little bit more. Maybe if he was like a consistent 70-point guy, I'd be perfectly fine. So he's still got some more growing to do before he gets to that point, but he's already a phenomenal player, is the point. Stankoven with 46 points in 77 games played. Then you have Ponomarov with 41 in 78. And wow, he actually had 31 points with us in 40 games. He only had 10 points in 38 with Carolina, so he must have gotten quite a bit of ice time here. Looks like he also had some power play minutes. Yeah, he was on the second line. Then you have Owen Martin with 40, 29 for Villanueva, 27 for Stromgren, 20 for Spitznagel, 19 for Michaud. He was really not good this year. he had 42 points last year. This year only 19. That's rough. Harrington with 17 points. I remember he was one of the 5-star players as we came in here, at least as far as potential goes. And now at 23 years of age, he's a 3.5-star potential, and he hasn't gotten above 24 points in the time we've been here. I don't know. Might want to at least see what we could get for him possibly, because I am not liking the way he's simulating. Minus 15, only 17 points. Let's see, was his defensive grade at 57? Yeah, I'm not liking what I'm seeing out of him. And it doesn't look like he's really getting any better, honestly. I haven't seen much progression out of him. If anything, only regression ever since he entered the NHL. Then you have Bell with 14 points in 53 games and Walker with 4 points in 39. And now the team stats, we have a 3.26 goals for per game, 15th in the league. Not bad. Could be better, obviously. Goals against per game, we're 20th in the league with 3.22. I mean, that's going to happen. You know, we're not exactly a team that's in the best state right now. We're below 500, so that was kind of expected. Faceoffs, 18th with a 50 flat. Power play, we are 15th with a 21%. And penalty kill, we're 25th with a 77.2. All right, and with that, I think we will end things off here. And the next one, we will get to the offseason of year number 2 with these Calgary Flames. See you guys then.